Sounds amazing. Here we go. This is technically section 1.10, not 1.9. Don't know how that happened. We're going to be talking about lines, lines, lines. Everything is lines. This should be a strong review for you. And we'll start with this. Do you remember what slope-intercept form is?
Oh my God.
Excellent. Y equals mx plus b. Where that is the y-intercept, and that is the slope. Do you remember the slope formula?
Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus y1 or 2x. Yeah, you got it. I love you. But you have to take a chill pill when you try to.
The slope formula. Most people remember the slope formula, but a lot of people forget point slope form. Am I accurate there? Okay, you got the idea. Can I show you how you will always remember it? So I will write the slope formula as y minus y1 over x minus x1. So that's really not much different than what I have up above, is it? I mean, those are pretty much the same. I just didn't put a 2 on that. Is everybody okay? Watch what happens if I cross multiply. 1 times y minus 1 is y minus y1. And if I take this times m, I get m times x minus x1. So point slope form comes straight from the slope formula. See that? To me, that's one of the most attractive things about mathematics is we don't make anything up. Everything comes from something else. So once you understand where things come from, you can always reproduce it. It's a nice thing. Okay, we have 4 types of slope. We would say that this slope is positive. We would say that this slope is negative. This slope is 0. And this slope is undefined. This brings us to the idea of horizontal lines and vertical lines. So some don't really have the form of y equals mx plus b. They're just slightly different. I'm going to draw a graph here of a line that passes through 2, 1. And it's also going to pass through 2, negative 3. So I'm giving you a chance to now understand why this is what it is. If you draw a line that goes through those 2 points, is it vertical or horizontal? It's vertical. Now, as I draw that line, what stays the same? The x values or the y values? So as soon as we see up and down, we think of y, correct? But when you look at it, it's the x values that stay the same. That's why a vertical line has an equation of x equals. So I get that all the time. People are like, well, if it's vertical, why is it x? Why isn't it y? Well, this is how come that happens, because the x values stayed the same. And if you draw a horizontal line with a slope of 0, notice that the height or the y value always stays the same. So y equals has 0 slope, and it's horizontal. X equals has undefined slope, and it's vertical. What is true about lines that are parallel? They have the same slope. Those lines never cross. So if we have y equals 3 halves x plus 5, then another line parallel could be y equals 3 halves x minus 8. Those would be parallel lines because the slopes are the same. What makes lines perpendicular? Very good. So Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. If this was y equals, say, 2/3 x, then the red one would be what? Yep, -3/2x. Opposite in value and reciprocal as well. So, trust me, when I teach this to 8th and 9th graders, we don't go this quickly because this is the first time some of them have seen it. But due to your structure of your curriculum, you guys should all have seen this in pre-algebra, algebra, intermediate algebra, geometry, and algebra 2. This should technically be the 5th time you've seen it. So let's put the practice to work. I want you to find the slope of the line through these given points right here. All 4 of these using your slope formula. See if you can come up with the right slope. On your mark, get set, go. Yep. Okay, I've got -4 for letter A. I've got undefined for letter B. I have m equals 0, slope is 0 for letter C, and -2/3 for letter D. Some people say, can we leave it as -4/6, or should we simplify it to -2/3? Yes, simplify it to -2/3, please. Also, undefined and 0 slope. I'd like to talk about that just a little bit further to help with your understanding. Who can tell me, if the slope is equal to 0, what kind of line is it? A horizontal line. So will it be the equation x equals or y equals? It will be y equals. Notice what stays the same. The y value of -2. That would be the equation for the line that runs through those points. Look at letter B. If it's undefined slope, what kind of line would that be? Vertical. And so it would be x equals or y equals. And what is the x value that stays the same? -3. Look at how quickly we wrote equations for those lines. Find an equation for a line that satisfies the following. Every time you're asked to write an equation for a line, you always need 2 things. You need slope, and you need a point that it passes through. Notice in this situation, they tell us that it passes through 3, 4, and that the slope is -3. At this point, I can move to y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And I remember that because that came straight from my slope formula. So therefore, it is y minus what? 4 equals -3 times x minus 3. And so there you have it. Y minus 4 is equal to -3x plus 9. Add the 4 to both sides. You get -3x plus 13. That's the equation in slope-intercept form. Please go ahead and do part B. Go. Did I do that correctly? Any questions on letter B? What makes letter C different? Every time I start with slope and I start with point. Every time. Okay, we're going to let Olivia choose today. Olivia, which point do you want? You choose. She wants 2, -1. Good. You can choose the other one, you'll get the same result. I don't know the slope. They didn't tell me. Can I find it? How? Yep, I subtract the y values, negative 7 minus negative 1. Divided by 4 minus 2. I get negative 6 over 2 or negative 3. Y plus 1 is equal to negative 3 times x minus 2. Y plus 1 is negative 3x plus 6. Y equals negative 3x plus 5. Try next one on your own. Go. That should be that result. So, every time, slope and a point that it passes through. It passes through 6, 1, and it's parallel to y equals 3x minus 4. Has to have the same slope. The point is 6, 1, and if it has the same slope, what is the slope going to be? 3. Once we have that, would you know what to do with it? So let's not do it. Well, we already know how to do the next part, right? So let's just leave it. Okay? I think the whole point is that we know how to get there now, right? We don't have to carry it through. On your assignment you do, but not here. Okay? Again, slope and a point. Passes through negative 3, 2. It says it's parallel to this. So what would I do? Yep, solve for y. Very good, Easton. Negative 5y is equal to negative 3x plus 11. Divide the negative 5. I get y is equal to 3/5 x minus 11/5. Is that a problem that I have 11/5 on the end? Does the 11/5 have anything to do with the problem? Do we care about it at all? No, we don't care about it. We care that the slope is 3/5. Could you now work it through? You sure could. Let's leave it alone.
I want to bet that you can probably not write the 11/5 on the test, still get the answer completely right.
And I will give you the answer exactly. Very good point.
Give us full point.
Full point, exactly. You try letter G on your own, carry it all the way through to come up with the line in slope-intercept form. See if you can do this one all the way through. Okay, I came up with y is equal to 2x minus 1/2 for that line. That means the slope should be? And then when you put it into the form, you got y equals negative 1/2 x, what? Minus 6. No? What'd you get?
What do you mean?
Okay, looks like I got to draw it through. Okay, here we go. I've got y minus y1. So y plus 8 is equal to negative 1/2 times x minus 4. Am I okay there?
Yeah.
Y plus 8 is equal to negative 1/2 x, and negative 1/2 times negative 4 is positive 2. Subtract the 8, y is negative 1/2 x, and then a minus 6. All right, the last two, here we go. These are the easiest problems. They look like the most difficult. It says, write an equation for a line that passes through this coordinate, which looks super confusing, but it's not, and is parallel to that guy. What kind of a line is y equals 4,123? A horizontal line. Excellent. What kind of line would be parallel to a horizontal line? Another parallel line. Another horizontal line. So, if I have another horizontal line, is it going to be y equals or x equals? Y equals. What's the y value that it's going to pass through?
Pi and
Pi is the x value, root of 2 is the y value. This one passes through 6 to the pi power and cubed root of 19. Looks confusing, but there's nothing special about those values. It says it's parallel to x equals negative 5 over 129. What kind of line is that? Vertical. So if it's parallel to that, what kind of line is it going to be? Okay. So if it's a vertical line, is it going to be x equals or y equals? X equals?
6, 5.
Excellent job.